First in high definition from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
We're starting with breaking news in Norfolk, where officers are on the scene of a deadly shooting. The call came in about a half hour ago to the 3300 block of Herbert Street. Police say they found a man dead at that location. We're getting more information now. Look for updates here on WAVY News 10 and WAVY.com.
The wreckage of the FA-18D Hornet is gone. This is what Mayfair Mews apartment complex looks like right now. The Navy let 10 on your side inside the courtyard this afternoon.
And this is the day residents have been waiting for since Friday. They were allowed back in to salvage their possessions. 10 on your side's Art Kahn has been at that site every day.
Art, an emotional day out there today.
Yeah, that's right, Alvita, for everyone, myself included. You know, in the minutes after the crash, residents here could do little else other than seek refuge from the burning wreckage that fell from the sky. But in some ways, their return here today has been just as traumatic. An ambulance backed in ahead of the residents as they emerged from the charred remains of what used to be home. They got out with their lives, but little else than the clothes on their back and the painful memories of that day. What they returned to Thursday morning was a vivid reminder of the nightmare that unfolded here, and in many ways still lingers.
I'm very upset. I'm never going to see that place again, and I really like it, and I'm just very upset. All my stuff, my pictures, my grandkids, my daughters, my parents, a lot of mementos. I don't know if I'm going to see him again. Doreen Davidson did not recover all those things Thursday, but what little she could bring out meant an awful lot, especially the urns with her parents' ashes.
That gives you some closure, doesn't
Yes, it does, because I'll have them with me at the hotel. And I know they're with me now, even though they were watching over us, so we didn't get hurt. And we got the cat out, and that was another good thing that happened.
Something else good happened here today. Doreen got her shoes out of the apartment and back onto her feet.
I had no shoes on me, but flip-flops. I've been freezing. They helped me get my sneakers. They helped me pack.
Doreen and her neighbors had to pack lightly. Most of the items recovered were small enough to fit into a box or bag, anything that could be carried out by hand.
We've just taken what we need to live for, till we get to the other place.
As much as it means to them to have their personal possessions in hand once again, it is a home they need most.
You know what? I haven't slept since this happened, and I'm telling you the truth. I lay in the hotel and I stare. My sister's been crying nonstop.
Yet their faith remains strong and their spirit steadfast amidst the burned out ruins in the place that used to be home, but will never be the same. Yeah, the work you see going on behind me right now with that front end loader, they're actually still removing some parts of the aircraft wreckage. Now, I will have a story for you coming up at 6 about how first responders out here long after the fire is out are still heroes to the people that live there. Reporting live from Virginia Beach, Art Kahn, 10 on your side.
And the Navy has also released these photos from inside the Mayfair Mews apartment complex. They show crews removing the wreckage of the FA-18D. Now, if you want to see all the pictures, check out that photo slideshow on WAVY.com.
Looks like a different part of the world. We're learning more about how 2 Marines died. They were on a training mission with the Norfolk-based USS Iwo Jima. The Osprey they were flying in crashed in Africa, northern part of that continent. It was part of the U.S. Moroccan military exercise. Both Marines are based out of Marine Corps Air Station New River, that's near Camp Lejeune. The military has not released their names. 10 on your side was there when the USS Iwo Jima and the rest of the amphibious ready group pulled out from Naval Station Norfolk on March 27th.
A man is behind bars in California awaiting extradition to Norfolk to face charges in the 1975 homicide. Officers arrested 58-year-old Joel Saenz in Palm Desert, California, on Tuesday on DUI and hit-and-run charges. That's when officers learned that he was wanted for the deadly stabbing of 32-year-old Lionel Baldwin on First View Street in Ocean View more than 35 years ago. Norfolk detectives secured arrest warrants for a murder against him the day before. And Norfolk police say this is the first case cleared by the department's cold case investigation unit. Chesapeake police are still searching for the man they say shot and killed his teenage brother. There's a makeshift memorial at the scene in the Geneva Mobile Home Park that's off Deep Creek Boulevard. Detectives say 16-year-old Jordan Casper was shot in the head early yesterday morning. 20-year-old Jeremy Casper is wanted on second-degree murder charges. Family members and neighbors told 10 on Your Side the deadly shooting was an accident. Police have not confirmed that.
And police say they found evidence of a meth lab in a dormitory at Christopher Newport University. CNU police called for an evacuation of Wilson Hall last month, citing a possible mobile meth lab. Police also searched a car next to the building. And 10 on Your Side's Ann McNamara uncovered new information about what police found that night when they opened the door to room number 231.
I wasn't in the apartment when the thing exploded.
The student who lives in the room across from the suspected meth lab says police showed up shortly after residents heard an explosion, followed by a foul smell.
Didn't smell natural, maybe a few chemicals, like walking to a chemistry lab.
His statements are consistent with new court documents that say police entered this dorm March 28th and found illegal narcotics and paraphernalia in plain view. They sent it to the forensic lab for testing. The next day, those tests showed the confiscated items were, quote, precursors and actual liquid product of a meth lab. The air in the dorm room also tested positive for 2 chemicals consistent with the makings of meth. The dorm was evacuated and checked for hazardous material.
People do stupid things occasionally. People do drugs, it's a fact of life. The fact that it touched here, some people like to believe it's not realistic, but it's everywhere. You can't really stop it.
Police returned to room 231 for a second time after reports one of the suspects trespassed to get back inside. Police arrested the suspect for trespassing and found more suspicious items in the suspect's bedroom. Among them, a white plastic bottle labeled muriatic acid. You may recognize the name. The chemical is used to adjust the pH in swimming pools and etch concrete. Police say it's also used to make methamphetamine.
Yes, we're just fortunate that nothing bad happened besides the smell.
That's Ann McNamara reporting from CNU. Now, court documents also say police found marijuana and a powdery substance believed to be spice in that same dorm room. No charges have been filed yet, and the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office is still getting interviews from witnesses for its criminal investigation. Meanwhile, the school banned 2 students from campus for their connection to this incident. Well, the Community Watch volunteer charged in the controversial shooting death of Trayvon Martin made his first appearance in front of a judge today.
George Zimmerman is charged with murder. He told police he shot Martin in self-defense.
And Jay Gray tells us what happened in court.
George Zimmerman spent less than 3 minutes in the courtroom today, dressed in a gray inmate jumpsuit, flanked by a sheriff's deputy and his attorney. He showed no emotion and spoke only twice.
Yes, sir.
Responding to the judges, he discussed his second-degree murder charge and his rights in the case.
Yes, sir.
It was a strictly procedural hearing, the judge setting a formal arraignment for May 29th and agreeing to a request from the defense, supported by prosecutors, to seal court records in the case.
If you want to do it so from now on, and the state agrees, is that?
We're in agreement with that from now on. That's fine, Your Honor.
There was no request for bail, and at this point it appears Zimmerman will remain behind bars through at least the weekend, likely longer, in an isolated cell under protective custody.
I hope to have him released on bond, and by that time I hope to have a place for him to be safe.
I feel as though he needs to be locked up and just prepare himself to be held accountable for what he did.
After pushing for more than a month for Zimmerman's arrest, an effort that sparked a national firestorm, Trayvon Martin's parents say they're relieved the controversy will now play out in a courtroom and not the rallies and protests that have defined this case.
We just want him to be held accountable for what he's done, and by him not being arrested, that would not have been done.
A process that began this afternoon in a Florida jailhouse courtroom.
Again, the formal arraignment in this case is set for the end of May. At that time, the court will likely work out a timetable for the start of a trial here. In Sanford, Florida, I'm Jay Gray, 10 on Your Side.
And if convicted, Zimmerman faces life in prison.
A woman beaten and robbed in front of her own home. New at 5:30, the latest as police search for the violent suspect before he strikes again.
When you got this, what did you think about this letter?
Thought it was ridiculous.
What do you think they're trying to do here?
I think it was sent to send me a message of intimidation and try to instill fear.
This is Adam Varner. He's running for Newport News City Council. He's a local businessman. He got this letter that police are now investigating, and you won't believe what else was in the envelope.
Car seat struggles. A lot of parents have trouble installing their child's safety restraint. Maybe you're one of them, but it might not be your fault.
Temperatures warmed up a little anyway for today. A little more sunshine as well. 61, 63 right now. These temperatures 7 to 10 degrees above what we had yesterday. What's going to be for tomorrow? How about the weekend? Find out with our forecast.
Some of us find it a challenge to install those child restraint seats correctly. A study from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety blames the auto industry for poor design. But the experts say many parents aren't using the tether that extends from the top of the restraint seats.
We think many parents may believe the tether is optional, but the tether isn't optional. It's absolutely essential to getting the best protection from a forward-facing child seat.
The Institute recorded crash tests to show what happens if the top tether is not attached. That top tether can ensure the seat stays in place in the proper place in a crash.
Upgrading to a new phone with Verizon will soon cost you $30. The country's largest cell phone company is the last national carrier to implement that fee. It kicks off on April the 22nd. Now, Verizon says that the fee will help fund customer support and online educational tools. The announcement comes as cell phone companies are seeing their profit margins chipped away by smartphone subsidies. Smartphones generally cost hundreds of dollars more than they sell for in the stores. AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint charge between $18 to $36 for phone upgrades. It's something people do every day, maybe even you. Go to the salon to get your nails done. Why researchers say that polish on your fingers and toes could be hazardous to your health.
And a possible case of campaign intimidation, what a candidate in a local city council race received in the mail that forced him to get police involved.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Libus, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Tonight, some dirty politics in Newport News has led to a police investigation.
They're looking at a possible case of intimidation against one of the candidates. Andy Fox is here right now, and this is truly a bizarre turn of events.
It's getting bizarre more and more every minute. A candidate in the South District race got an envelope yesterday, and what was inside made the campaign call the cops. You know it's getting political nasty when they're cutting your face out of your campaign posters.
My signs being knocked down repeatedly. I've been going back out, picking them up, no big deal. But recently what they started doing is actually cutting my face out of the signs.
Small businessman Adam Varner is running for Newport News City Council in the South District. Varner is running his campaign out of his family-owned bowling alley on 79th Street. Wednesday, this suspicious letter showed up.
Keep one ready at all times. Salute. Thug. Even though I came to bring you the word, I'm no reverend. Just a casualty in the game, more like a veteran. Never asked permission when on a mission. Thug outreach.
The worst thing was inside the letter, a .45 caliber bullet, which refers to the first line of the letter. Keep one ready at all times.
I think it's a cowardly act. I think that it's nothing more than to take my attention off of the campaign.
The letter is signed Thug Outreach. So happens this email was sent to Varner's campaign Tuesday, and it was signed Thug Outreach. Thug stands for Tough Humans Under God.
It appears to me that the subject text is Thug Outreach, and the letter that I got is signed Thug Outreach. So I kind of put them both together. I thought that they were one and the same.
Newport News police are investigating this as a case of intimidation, and they have spoken with this man, Larry Fitzpatrick, who is the founder of his Hampton-based group called Thug. You had nothing to do with sending this letter here.
No, sir.
But you did send this.
Yes, sir. I sent the initial email. Yes,
Tough
sir.
Humans Under God.
Yes, sir.
Now, Newport News police have the bullet. We can't see it. We sent a picture of Larry Fitzpatrick to the campaign, the bowling alley employee that received the letter. This just happened moments ago that had the bullet in it, is now telling Newport News police the man who gave him the letter looks similar to Fitzpatrick. I called Fitzpatrick back, and he now tells me someone he knows may have delivered the letter, but he insists it was not him. Tonight, only on 10, our exclusive interview with Larry Fitzpatrick and the case of the envelope with a bullet inside. I'm Andy Fox, 10 on your side.
Breaking news in Chesapeake right now. Firefighters are on the scene of a house fire on Sweetleaf Court.
That's just off Kempsville Road near Chesapeake City Park. And this is a picture a 10 on your side viewer emailed to reported@wavy.com.
No word on any injuries right now. Chopper 10 is heading to the scene as we speak.
Now, in high definition, your Super Doppler 10 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Nice quiet day. Not as much wind, a little more sunshine. And the big story is the temperatures warmed up just a few degrees for today, and they're going to continue to warm on up for tomorrow and really warm up into the weekend. So every day in every way, you know the old phrase, it gets better and better. Here's what's going on. On the bigger picture, you can see the low pressure area, which has been dominating. Really, it's kind of a combination of a low way on out to sea and high pressure over the Ohio Valley, the upper Great Lakes region between the two. They're pumping in some colder air. Low pressure circulates counterclockwise, and that drops in some of the colder air, and of course the high pressure rotates clockwise, and between the two we've ended up with that flow of northerly winds into the region and some cloud cover rolling in off the bay and off the coast. But over the next couple of days, high pressure moves offshore. And remember the part with me drawing there, and it says it moves clockwise, high pressure rotates clockwise. Well, there we go. We're going to end up with more of a southwesterly wind coming up by the day on Saturday, and everything else stays well away from our part of the world for the time being. So we are going to warm on up in a very, very big way, especially by later in the day, Saturday and into Sunday. A few clouds off and on, and you can see those partly cloudy skies going on right now. We'll continue to see a little of that during the overnight hours. Winds really drop on down, become more northwesterly, and we'll see a couple of stray clouds tomorrow, but a lot of sunshine during the day. And there's that high moving offshore by the end of the day tomorrow, certainly tomorrow night, and there's that southerly wind by Saturday, and that southerly breeze on Saturday is going to really start to warm things up. It'll warm up a couple more degrees for tomorrow. Warmed up nicely today, but even more for tomorrow and a lot by Saturday. There's where we are by the end of the day. Saturday, that southerly breeze just starting to warm things up a bit more significantly for the day on Saturday. Now, here's where we are tomorrow during the day. Today was around 61, 63 degrees. That's what we peaked at. And tomorrow we're looking at 64, 65, maybe 67 degrees into a few inland areas. And then we move on into Saturday, and there's where we see things warm on up, quite likely into the low to mid 70s. So very nice day coming up for the first day of the weekend. Now, look at that cloud cover that we've had during the afternoon hours. And what goes on with this is that it's cold upstairs, very, very chilly air up in the upper atmosphere. And as the air warms up down below, it becomes what's called self-destructive sunshine, where we end up seeing things cool on down because what happens is the warmer air starts lifting up, and what happens with that is the clouds develop, and the sunshine kind of kills itself off. Now, last night we dropped on down into the 30s to around the 40-degree mark, even some mid-40s near the coastline. Tonight, not nearly as cold, and likely drop on down into the low 40s inland, around 45, 46 near the coastline. For tomorrow, around 64, 65, 74 Saturday, and then we start pushing this 80 by Sunday, mid-80s by Monday and Tuesday.
Meat and poultry farmers give antibiotics to their animals to make them grow faster. Well, how the government is looking out for you in this case and asking them to stop.
Flames from 4 different wildfires are quickly moving across southwest Virginia. Tonight, see how local firefighters are helping with this fight. We want to update you on that fire right now in Chesapeake. We do have Chopper 10 headed over the scene at this point.
And this is a house on Sweetleaf Court, and this is video now coming into our newsroom. You can see from the ground, it looks like the fire really got going. This is off Kempsville Road near the city park in Chesapeake. A 10 on your side viewer just emailed us this video.
And this is a live picture right now. Chopper 10 has just arrived on the scene. As you see, they're trying to put this fire out. You can still see flames, though. It is in Kempsville, but we understand it's also in the Greenbrier section. That city park is actually in Greenbrier, so they're working pretty hard right now to put that fire out. We haven't heard of any injuries yet, so that's a good thing.
And Chopper 10 is just over this scene. We're going to keep following this story coming up at 5:30 as well. Stay with us.
Well, when the weather gets warmer, women strap on sandals, and that usually involves getting a pedicure. A new study found some salon nail polish contains toxic chemicals. The California Department of Toxic Substances Control says that exposure to this toxic trio of chemicals may cause developmental problems, asthma, cancer, and birth defects. There's also short-term health effects like rashes, watering eyes, coughing, and wheezing. Labels claim to be free of these chemicals, but tests found that all nail polish manufacturers, not all of them, are actually telling the truth. The findings show products claiming to be free of the toxic trio of chemicals were actually more likely to contain those ingredients than products that didn't make such claims.
The Food and Drug Administration wants farmers to phase out antibiotics used for animals. Researchers say that practice has contributed to antibiotic resistance in humans. The FDA also wants veterinarians to write prescriptions for the drugs only to keep animals healthy rather than farmers buying them on their own. Farmers have 3 years to phase in those new guidelines.
A baby declared dead is discovered alive in a refrigerated morgue. The story of survival coming up next.
Then a 6-year-old in Maryland died after accidentally shooting himself. Tonight, hear where police say they found the gun.